Hello friends, and welcome to Top of the Stack MTG. Today we've got another deck tech for you. Atarka Dragons. Very, very fun. Red-green dragons. The deck costs about $40. I'd give it a rank 2. It's a very competitive, good deck. It's a mid-range deck, which means that you're going to ramp into larger creatures. You're going to buy creatures that give you mana so that you can buy larger creatures quickly. Let's start with the ramp creatures. We have got Dragonlord Servant. It's a 2-drop. Dragon spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. It's great. All the dragons are cheaper. It's wonderful. Whisper of the Wilds, 2-drop. Tap to add 1 to your mana pool. Now I chose this one over the Elvish Mystic because it also has a ferocious power, which is tap, add 2 forests to your mana pool. Activate this ability only if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. So I liked the ferocious side of it. It seemed to be more in line with dragons. So that's why I chose this one instead of Elvish Mystic. Rattleclaw Mystic. Rattleclaw Mystic is a 2-drop. Tap, add a forest, an island, or a mountain to your mana pool. Now, of course, we only care about the forest or the mountain. But I love that this is mana fixing. I mean, it's great. A 2-drop that can get you one or the other. Really nice. So now we go on to an artifact. This is a 3-drop, Atarka's Monument. You can tap it for a mountain or a forest, but you can also spend 6 for generic and a mountain and a forest, and this artifact becomes a 4/4 red and green dragon artifact creature with flying until the end of the turn. So that's nice. You can turn it into a dragon if you need to. All right, let's get on to the dragons themselves. First up, Thunderbreak Regent, a very popular dragon. This is a 4-drop, 2 mountains, and 2 colorless. Whenever a dragon you control becomes the target of a spell or ability an opponent controls, Thunderbreak Regent deals 3 damage to that player. This is excellent. Great for avoiding people's removal. I mean, eventually they're still going to have to use it, but they will take 3 damage when they do. And that's really nice. And it's for all your dragons as long as the Thunderbreak Regent is out. Next up, we've got Dragonlord Atarka. This is a 7-drop. It's all right, though, because you've been ramping up with those other creatures. 5 generic, a mountain, and a forest. It has flying and trample, and it's an 8/8. Brilliant. When Dragonlord Atarka enters the battlefield, it deals 5 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers your opponent controls. So it's removal on a stick, as they say. It's a creature that is removal when it enters the battlefield. Just a great, great creature all the way around. And then we have Atarka World Render. They are legendary creatures, but you can play both at the same time, just not 2 of both at the same time, obviously. One is a legendary creature dragon, Atarka World Render. The other is a legendary creature elder dragon, Dragonlord Atarka. So there's enough difference that you can play one of each at the same time. And then our last dragon is Savage Ventmaw. Savage Ventmaw, 6-drop, 4 generic and a mountain and a forest. It's a 4/4. It's a flyer. Whenever it attacks, you add 3 mountains and 3 forests to your mana pool until the end of the turn. This mana doesn't empty from your mana pool as steps and phases end. So this is great. I put it in for a very specific reason because of the next card, but it's nice that it doesn't go away at the end of each step the way normal mana does. Normally, if you tap for mana in your first main phase, you can't save it and spend it in your second main phase. Once that phase ends, it erases and you move on to the next step. But this allows you to keep it all the way till the end of your actual turn, which is great. Because the last card that I've put in here is Crater's Claws. Crater's Claws deals X damage to target creature or player. It also has a ferocious power. Crater's Claws deals X plus 2 damage to that creature or player instead if you control a creature with 4 or greater power. I feel like this should just be Dragon Breath. I don't know why it's Crater's Claw, but I feel like it fits really well in the deck. It's probably the card that sticks out the most, though, when you look at them, although some of these ramp cards, too. I don't know. I really like it in the deck, and it makes the deck very competitive. Great removal. As you know, you can burn your opponent or redirect it to hit a planeswalker, or you can just use it to kill a guy. Most of the time, I just burn my opponent and finish the game, because with the ramping, you have so much mana. You're able to do maybe 13 or 14 points of damage to your opponent. So it's great. All right, let's move on to lands real quick. So I do not use fetch lands in this deck. As I've said before, I don't like paying for fetch lands for 2-color decks. If it's a 3-color deck, I can see wanting to put it in, but a 2-color deck, I don't think it's worth the price for the mana fixing. So I'm starting with Cinder Glade, which is, as you know, the second tier. If you watched the mana base video for the allied colors, this was one of them. And the second best one to choose is Cinder Glade, and then the third best one is Game Trail. So I have 4 copies of Cinder Glade, 4 copies of Game Trail, and then I did also throw in 2 copies of 2 colorless mana lands. Haven of the Spirit Dragon. You can spend 2 and tap it to grab a dragon from your graveyard and put it back into your hand, which is great. Also, Crucible of the Spirit Dragon. Tap it, add 1 to your mana pool, or you can spend 1 and tap it, put a storage counter on Crucible of the Spirit Dragon, tap it, remove X storage counters from the Crucible of the Spirit Dragon, add X mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool, spend this mana only to cast dragon spells or activate abilities of dragons. So it does not work for Crater's Claw, but you can use it to grab big dragons, which is awesome. That is the reason I only put 2 in. 2 of those and also 2 of the Haven of the Spirit Dragon, just because I wanted to make sure that I could get Mountain and Forest quickly so that I could start getting those ramp cards out as quick as possible. Good, that's the lands. Oh, also 6 mountains and 6 forests. And then the sideboard. The sideboard is pretty standard. I've got Roast in there in case you're going up against Siege Rhinos, although the one dragon can take care of a Siege Rhino as well. But Roast is nice to have, just in case. Arc Lightning, in case you're going up against something with a bunch of small creatures. That's a great one. And then for this one, I think I put in Release the Gremlins, which I think is a great choice for this deck because, number 1, you're ramping, so you have a ton of mana. And number 2, there are tons of artifact decks out there. If you can take out like 4 artifacts and get yourself 4 2/2 gremlins, that's huge. That's a game changer right there. So yeah, Release the Gremlins I think will work very well in this specific deck simply because of the ramp. Okay, I think that's everything. I hope you guys enjoy this deck tech. And the deck, it's great and it's very affordable. $40, that's awesome, especially for something as competitive as this. Like I said, a rank 2, perhaps even a rank 1 if you're really good with your sideboard. Yeah, if you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, please subscribe, and thank you so much to the subscribers that I have, and have a great day.